Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Hey everybody, how are you doing out there on this lovely Sunday in October? October's flying by now too, eh? It's going to be Halloween soon. Yes, cheers to the cold coffee people in the morning. Hope your coffee's warmer than mine is this morning. I never drink it right away. I get lost in the world of practice and gear and rewiring stuff and all that kind of stuff, and hey, gets lost. Speaking of rewiring, yes. Oh, sorry. I get off track so badly here. Tom Petty, yes. As people would say when people pass away and they still celebrate their birthday, happy birthday in heaven to Tom Petty of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, who passed away on October 6th. Sorry, I have it written down. I did some research. October 2nd, 2017. Just after finishing a huge farewell tour, which I kick myself for not going to see, we passed on it somehow in our world. Because back in 2017, the family and I, myself and the family, we just went to concerts. That's it. I mean, we went to we don't do the Cuba in the winter or the Jamaica and the all what do they call those things? All inclusive. There we go. All inclusive thing. No, we just go to concerts. That's what we save our money for. And we do go out of town to concerts. We've followed some bands around. We've seen shows. We've seen Billy Joel in New York City, which is a great trip. Saw Guns N' Roses in Charlotte, North Carolina. We saw Guns N' Roses in Ottawa. We saw a lot of shows that were away, as well as in Toronto, and where all we've seen 99% of the concerts I've seen in my life are from Toronto. But basically that was 2017. So we passed on the Tom Petty thing and Tom Petty final show, which was in the summertime, and then the tour subsequently ended probably sometime in September 2017, and he passed away on October 2nd. Sadly, today is actually his birthday. October 20th, I believe, is today. I hope I'm getting these dates right. I know what day it is of the week and that. I think it's Sunday. It is. Yes, this one is actually taped on Sunday. Recorded. You can show my age when I say taped. But, and then, of course, another sad thing was about a week, less than 2 weeks later, October 17th, Gord Downey passed away of tragically hip, who we all knew he had some issues with cancer, and then was obviously had his final tour the same summer before. Interestingly enough, how that paralleled with those two artists, and both of the artists were kind of the flagship for their countries. Tom Petty was a very American-driven, top down and driving down the PCH, that kind of thing, type of music, or even just the Midwest of the States, that kind of very rootsy music that wasn't country. It was rock. It wasn't the Eagles. It was still a little bit more of an edge to it than the Eagles. Tom Petty came out in a time where punk rock music and new wave was big, and he actually got lumped in with the punk rock crowd and that, which was interesting. If you were around at that time, I was very young at the time, but I remember all the new wave and punk, and punk and Clash, bands like that had that edge, and he was lumped in with those bands, and then all of a sudden, Damn the Torpedoes comes out and goes, well, this guy's not a new wave guy. He's very rootsy. There's lots of jangly Rickenbackers and Strats and Tellys going on here, and Vox amps and that. This guy's not. He's not in that genre at all. And then he basically grew into a very incredible artist over the years. And it's amazing how artists grow into what they actually are from their first albums on. interestingly enough. And then Gord Downie was the flagship guy for Canadian music and Canadiana, if you will. Interesting that they both passed away in the same month, in the same year. Nothing else really to say about that other than that's how it happened. I don't know if it was there's nothing too monumental you can say about it. But Tom Petty was a great, great artist. Of course, this is a show about guitarists and guitars and that too. Tom Petty was a fine guitar player. Had Mike Campbell with him for the entire career, and Mike Campbell was a phenomenal guitar player. But the two of them, when they got together, they bought vintage guitars, and there's stories about how Mike Campbell's wife said, we can't afford that, and then she actually said, yeah, maybe we should buy that as an investment. And then they go out and shop for guitars. If you want to watch Gibson TV's feature on Mike Campbell's guitars, watch that on YouTube. It's about a 2-hour. Yeah, they're long videos, I know. But he goes through all the guitars in his shop and or in his house, and it's amazing. He's got this rack that he's got on a tow motor kind of motor thing that comes down. I don't have a strap on this thing, so I got to hold on to it. It comes down in his room, and all the guitars are actually hung in there, and then it goes back up to the ceiling when he wants to. He grabs what he needs and puts it back up there. It's pretty cool. You have to see that. I just described that horribly, but yeah, Tom and Mike had a huge collection of vintage guitars. Fueled by Norm Harris of Norm's Rare Guitars, of course. If you go down to Norm's, they're probably still grieving Tom Petty years and years later. But it was funny because he said on his day off, when he doesn't have to play music, he just goes and hunts for guitars and still has music, still plays on his days off. Yeah, kind of cool. But hats off to Tom Petty. I got a special guest star on the show today. No, it's not a person. It's this guy here, which is a Tokai Stratocaster. And if you look at it from a distance, looks like I'm playing looks like I'm playing like a 1960 or so real Strat, in fine condition, by the way. Tokai is a Japanese builder from the 80s, and may have been around before the 80s. I don't know the history of the company, but they make phenomenal, down to every last detail here, copies. And they, some people call these lawsuit guitars because they were asked to cease and desist, but I don't think there was ever any kind of real concrete lawsuit that took the copies away. Because this is like one of the most copied guitars, other than the Les Paul and the Tele. One of the most copied body styles and models of guitar in the history of the electric guitar. And this is just a fine example of vintage guitars. And if you look at this real closely, it's got the vintage headstock. It's got the rosewood fingerboard, like they came out in probably, I think it was in the 1960, 1961, they decided, hey, that those maple necks really start to look like hell as players play them and the dirt collects. But that was the kind of that was the magic of those guitars, wasn't it? But they wanted it to look cosmetically okay, so they put rosewood on here, and then that doesn't wear down as well. I've actually seen some rosewood guitars that are worn down like crazy, but this is and some of these Japanese copies are arguably better than the original Fenders. Not the original ones, but maybe the ones that were coming out at the same time. I've played there's a bunch of companies, Greco, Bernie, which are part of the Fernandez group, and Tokai, of course, which are becoming very quite collectible actually in the vintage Japanese market, and which is going to be a thing soon, very soon. If it already isn't. The Fernandez, Bernies, Grecos, Tokais, and Ibanez, which another amazing company that started as copies. I think they did fine. if you can agree with that, I think they did fine on their own with their own models. Steve Vai helped them with that a little bit, maybe just a little. And a lot of great artists, like the 80s, Ibanez was just basically anybody who was anybody in the world of rock guitar was playing an Ibanez guitar. Andy Timmons, Reb Beach, Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, who still plays Ibanez. So does Steve Vai. But yeah, just Satriani, another one. Just a large amount of players played Ibanez, and they did just fine without making the copies. But anyhow, El Degas was a company. I have a couple of El Degas guitars around here somewhere. I don't know where they are. El Degas was a company. It was a Canadian brand, but made in Japan. But it was made by some of the same companies, probably made in the Ibanez plant or the company that made those Ibanez copies. Still, another one that's better than the best. One of the best Les Pauls I ever played was an El Degas. There, I said it. Gibson wasn't making great guitars back then either in the 80s. Anyhow, Luke Petrella, my student, and he is also a teacher at Avalon Music Academy. He was my student for years. He now teaches for us. This is his guitar. It was here for repair. As you can hear, Luke, it sounds fine. It is repaired. Anyhow, Bridge on Fire would like to thank everybody at Eastside's Bar and Grill in London for a great show on Friday night. Thank you so much. Always great playing there. We will be at Cabana Bar and Grill in Cambridge. Great place. We bring our entire show in there, our whole PA and lights in there. Yes, so it takes a little bit longer to set up. But yeah, we'll be there this Saturday, October 26th. I think it might be a Halloween party, but you don't have to come dressed up. Just come dressed to see us. Anyhow, other than that, we're into a holiday season. We have a Avalon Music, our home, and home away from home, I guess you could call it. Avalon has a fundraiser show at the Polish Hall in Brantford on Sunday, October 27th, the day after I play Cabanas late night. I'm gonna be a tired boy when you see me on October 17th for our Avalon show, for showcasing our teachers, our students, and anybody else who wants to get up and play with us, because it's a benefit show. Anyhow, have a great Sunday. Musically, lots of great things going on out there. People keep playing live. Go see your friends play live. Go buy some tickets to some theater shows, and get out there and see them all in bars and theaters and everywhere else. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday. Have a good one. Take it easy.